Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll go over the economic data, we'll look at some news, we'll do a market recap, and then we'll look at the trading opportunities from today. So starting here on the economic data front, we did have core retail sales come in month over month down here at negative 0.8%. And we did have just US retail sales month over month come in down 1%. Looking at the calendar, we'll turn to next week to see what we got. So Tuesday, April 18th, we get building permits. Wednesday, we get crude oil inventories. And Thursday, we get initial jobless claims, Fed manufacturing index, and existing home sales. And we did have some earnings kick off today with the big banks here. As you can see, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, Citigroup, PNC, United Health. And you can see just green across the board. You know, they definitely benefited from this banking crisis with a lot of these smaller banks blowing up and a lot of their deposits moving into the bigger banks, which are, basically protected by the Fed. Like, if any of these banks start, getting into trouble, the Fed and the Treasury will just bail them out. So now we'll look at the news. This is the loss of the purchasing power of the dollar over the last 20 years. As you can see, the dollar over the past 20 years has lost about 40% of its purchasing power. And we have BlackRock's assets swelling to over $9 trillion. And this is the banking system appears to be stabilizing here. As you can see, the implied volatility in treasury yields has come back down to levels that it was at before the banking crisis. And we have the London Stock Exchange to clear cryptocurrency trades. And this is the median monthly house payment by state. At the top up here, you can see we have Hawaii and California at $4,900 and $4,500 per month. And, the home payment in California requires 61% of the median resident's income. And the cheapest state is West Virginia, requiring only 19% of annual income. And this is the demand for vacation homes. As you can see, just dropping like a rock here, down 52% below the pre-pandemic levels. And this is the U.S. retail sales here. 1.5% over the last year, the lowest growth rate since May of 2020. And it's well below the historical average here at 4.78%. But if you do adjust retail sales to inflation, it's much worse here. As you can see, falling 3.3% over the last year. And this is a seventh consecutive year-over-year decline. And this is the U.S. The rents, asking rents are lower than they were a year ago. The first year-over-year decline we've had since 2020. And this is the Fed's discount window and bank term funding program. As you can see, we had the banking crisis, and the amount of, banks that were pulling out from the Fed window here was just spiking. And as you can see, it's slowly starting to decrease here. And this is the Treasury's account at the Fed, their cash account. As you can see, the amount of cash the Treasury has at the Fed in billions of dollars is dropping like a rock. So you can see the Treasury running out of money. So now we'll look at the market. Starting here in the debt market, we have the 10-year yield getting a nice green day here, getting through the midline. The dollar getting a green day as well, bouncing off of these lows from February. And getting a wick off, wicking up back into that lower extreme here on the weekly chart. Turning to stocks, we do have a red day in stocks here, kind of a doji candle. As you can see, pretty big wicks to both sides. We're closing the week off green here. So look at cryptos, Bitcoin. We do have a red day after getting a nice little wick to the upside. Currently red. This could go green, but wicking right there off of that upper extreme there on the weekly chart. So now we'll look at XRP, green day here, and XRP getting a big wick off this upper band here. Starting to get kind of squeezed here. Hopefully we can get some good continuation coming up over the weekend. Now look at commodities. We do have oil getting a green day after that red day pullback yesterday. Still sitting here above this key levels here around this $81, $82 level. Gold, pretty big red day here in gold. Not able to get continuation up to the highs quite yet. Just still sitting up here in the upper end of this daily range. Silver is same thing. Pretty big red day here after getting a wick up to the upside through yesterday's highs. Pretty overextended here, pretty far from the midline. So, I probably would expect the metals to consolidate for a while before getting that push. As you can see, basically wicking off of this upper extreme here on the monthly chart. So now we'll turn to the trades. We'll start with our volume analysis here on the S&P 500. As you can see, just kind of wicks to both sides. The volume was pretty split with buying and selling. So yeah, just kind of a doji day, pretty directional to both sides. Decent volume, but less than we got the past 2 days. So we'll go to the 5-minute. As you can see here, we did have a really strong push off the open before just going straight down. And then, kind of bouncing into the close here to close almost right there below the open. So now we'll look at the relativity. As you can see, the Q is doing the same thing, getting a nice push up and then just selling off most of the day. Before getting a bounce into the close. The Qs did get a stronger bounce, as you can see here, closing above the open, where the SPY did close below the open. So when it comes to trades, obviously this is pretty ugly price action with a strong push, selling off, and then bouncing. There's really no good setups here. No really good patterns. We can zoom out a little more. As you can see, we did have bullish EMAs, so I didn't like it for a short in here. As you can see, getting rejected up here after that push off the open at the 30-minute extreme here, upper extreme, and here on the 15-minute chart. Pulling back down into this lower extreme here on the 15-minute, which was also these 2-hour 20 EMA. So yeah, we had bullish moving averages, but we also had a lot of resistance. I mean, it was just, not a good setup. We have had a lot of chop in here throughout this kind of squeeze we've been in on this 2-hour chart. But we did have those bank earnings come out where all the big banks, were just posting massive gains. So yeah, we did like some bank stocks today. First, we'll start off with JP Morgan. This trade wasn't the greatest trade, but, it was pretty much one of the only trades. I mean, there was nothing going on in the market with how crazy the SPY was. So really, I was just focusing on these bank earnings because they were really good. As you can see, we got the push up, pull back, really long consolidation. This didn't break out here until 3:30. Yeah, and then it just kind of came up and retested the highs here. We can zoom out to the daily chart. As you can see, just getting a monster gap up off this earnings report with this big squeeze to the upside here. Getting back into these levels from, February. Yeah, but for the trade, we did like it for this momentum shift squeeze to the upside here. Right here at VWAP. So yeah, this would have been a good entry. We did have these 140 calls. We went in the 140s instead of the 139s because there was significantly more volume on the 140s. So, I mean, not the best trade, but, it got the job done today. It was literally one of the only opportunities I liked. So yeah, your entry could have been in here during the squeeze. We'll call it on the upper end about 85 cents. And on that move up to that trend line and VWAP on these options contracts, you're looking at about a 15% gain. And on that retest of the highs going into the close, you are looking at about a 36% gain. So, pretty nice move on these contracts. Buying into here. You could have taken profit into here. But, what I did, I just started buying in here and then added some more in here. And then, sold out into this push. And we'll zoom out so you can see, get a better idea what was happening. As you can see, not the cleanest chart. We did have that 15-minute come in and catch the bid, but as you can see, kind of chopped through it a good bit before breaking out and then getting its push up here to retest these highs where exactly that upper extreme was on the 15-minute. So that's why I thought that was a really good target to get out at, because you had the previous high of the day here and this 15-minute extreme. And it kind of, waited on this 2-hour band to catch up to come in for a retest before getting that push up here. So, yeah, pretty decent trade here. Nothing too crazy. Didn't really get a break of the highs or nothing, but this was just, buying into support and then selling, into resistance for a nice gain up here. This is about a 40% gain. There was also Bank of America. It had, it wasn't a good setup. As you can see, this looks pretty trash, but, it was one of the only real other opportunities besides JP Morgan that I liked. As you can see, getting its momentum shift squeeze here. So you could have bought in here or in here during this squeeze. Yeah, just risking, down to the open. And we can zoom out here. As you can see, we had that 15-minute come in right there, cross the open, catch the bid. We started squeezing in here before getting our push up into this band. And so, yeah, that would have been the take profit target. That is where I got out. as we ran into this upper band here on the 15-minute, as you can see, kind of the same trade as JP Morgan. But we had the 29.5 strike options on these. So you're getting in, somewhere in this squeeze if you got in, not the best entry because you were below VWAP, but, on that push up, to retest that upper extreme on the 15-minute, you're looking at about a small 11% gain. And if you were getting in down here on this squeeze to retest the open, you're looking at about a 15, 16% gain on these Bank of America call options. But besides that, I mean, there was really nothing else. There was this PTPI low float that popped off. Kind of had a little downtrend break, but, this was just small cap. The float really wasn't available, and there was no news, so, just avoided that one. But we can scan through here. I'm talking, there was, like, nothing going on today. No good squeezes, no good setups. Yeah, I mean, with the overall market being so volatile and no real clear direction, I mean, you're talking a strong push. This probably got a lot of people thinking, today was going to be really bullish. And then we got this huge sell-off, and then we recovered. I mean, super volatile day today. Not really any good direction or trades here in the S&P 500. So this kind of price action in the overall market is going to bust a lot of the charts. On the larger cap stocks that we like to trade options on, it's going to bust a lot of those charts up. Not really any good setups, and when you have busted charts here, when the SPY has a really volatile, chaotic day, like really non-directional, that's when you kind of want to look for small caps. But there was really no small caps. I mean, there was this PTPI, but it didn't have any news or nothing, so it didn't really have a good catalyst, so we avoided this. But we did have the bank earnings, so that's pretty much what I focused on today, was the mega banks like JP Morgan and Bank of America, because, it was a pretty ugly day. So, yeah, we just focused on what had the catalyst, which was these strong bank earnings. So, yeah, pretty weird day today to end the week, but, getting a nice green close here on the week. Just, still sitting in this upper end of this daily range, just kind of consolidating in this weird pattern here. We can look at this. Something I kind of do want to point out is we do kind of have this pattern forming here on the 2 hour. Kind of broadening wedge forming here on the 2 hour chart. But, we'll see what happens. Well, yeah, pretty good week today, or this week. A lot of good trades. Pretty wild week with all the economic data. Just a ton of economic data this week with CPI, PPI, retail sales, Fed minutes. So, yeah, pretty chaotic week up here. As you can see, the price action just super choppy and just a lot of stuff going on. But, yeah, that should do it for the video. I appreciate y'all watching, and I will talk to y'all later.